If you are currently leveling up your Django and Postgres skills with this tutorial, you might like to know that this tutorial is part of a whole playlist where you will learn how to, with Django and Postgres, create database level constraints and triggers. If you like this playlist and you would like to learn more about Django ORM, then do check out our Django ORM Mastery course on Udemy. Links to the playlist and course can be found in the video description. At this point, if you have been following along, we have now implemented two check constraints and a trigger. So let's take a look at now implementing or creating a unique constraint. A unique constraint in Postgres is a rule that ensures all values in that column, or indeed a group of columns, are distinct from each other. If we take a look at some of the default behaviors, for example, when we create a primary key in our Postgres database, it will automatically set it to unique or create a unique constraint for that field. And that will be similar if we were to define unique on any of the fields here we have in our table. So generally, we only start to think about creating unique constraints when we have a scenario where there are two fields which together must form a unique set of data. So if we take a look at the category table, I've tried to set this up so that we have that scenario. So here we are going to be applying a unique constraint on a combination of columns, and that's going to be, as you can see in the table here, it's going to be name and level. So here, the name and level combination of columns, the data in those columns, the combined values must be unique across all rows. So if you remember, what we're trying to do here in our category table with the self-referring foreign key is to create a set of data which can be viewed as a hierarchical set of data. So the idea is that we have some sort of category. Let's just call that technology. So that's our category. Now, obviously, we want to have subcategories. So connected to that might be, for example, programming. Okay, so that's our subcategory. We might then have a category associated to programming. That might be Python, and so on. So what we're doing here is we've created a self-referring foreign key so we can relate categories to their parent categories. So that's the relationships that we are creating. And we've taken the extra step of creating a level field, because what we're also going to do is define levels. So this would be level 1, this would be level 2, and this would be level 3. And that metadata that we are storing in the database will be useful when we want to start to query our database. We could, for example, query all the top level categories by querying the category where level equals 1, for example, and that would return all the top level categories from our category table. So by combining the name field and the level field, we're saying that these two fields, or the data in these two fields, they have to be unique across the whole table. So we're saying, for example, name tech level 1. So the combination of this data here must be unique, which means that if we were, for example, to try and insert a new record into the category table, and let's say we're trying to insert tech, again at level 1, of course we couldn't do that because the combination of these fields, the data in these fields must be unique. Right, so let's go ahead and create this unique constraint in our database. Now this is really simple. If you have been following along, we just need to copy the previous check constraint we've created for the slug. Let's go ahead and change the name of this constraint. So inventory category, let's go for check unique name level. So it is a check, well, it's not a check constraint, of course, it's a unique constraint. So we simply just need to change the keyword. Let me see if I can zoom in. So we just need to change the word here to unique. This is a unique constraint. And then we just need to supply the fields. So this is going to be level, and let's just do it in order. It's going to be name and level. And there we go. So this is a unique constraint for two fields. It ensures that the combination of values in these two fields is unique across all rows in the table. Now, we haven't started talking about indexes, but when you create a unique constraint on multiple columns, Postgres should automatically create a unique index on these columns. This index is going to help enforce the uniqueness constraint efficiently. Just some other points. If you are following along with this tutorial, maybe applying it to your own database, don't forget, before adding the constraint, ensure that the existing data in the table doesn't violate this new constraint. If there are duplicates in the existing data that you're trying to apply this to, PostgreSQL will not allow you to add the constraint until the duplicates are resolved.